Om Namo. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, like to welcome everybody today. Thank you so much for joining us. Like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can continue with the overview of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're on the second canto and chapter 4, the process of creation. So I'd like to welcome Shruti back again. She'll kindly recite the Sanskrit. And Kaushal, Hare Krishna, Shruti, thank you so much. Still remember the Wednesday night session. Amazing that was. Kaushalya Mataji, would you like to read the English translation?
Yes, Prabhuji, okay.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so you can start with whatever invocation you like. Shruti?
Okay, Prabhuji. So first, there are 25 verses in this chapter. So how many are we reciting in the first?
First lot will be 10. Oops, 10 of them.
Okay, first 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Suta Uvacha Vaiyasaker vachasthatvanishchayam atmanah upadharyamatim krishne auttareya satim vyadhat.
Suta Goswami said, Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon the Lord Krishna.
Atmajaya sutagara pashudravina bandhushu rajye cha vikale nityam virudham mamatam jahau.
Maharaja Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body. His wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom.
Paprachachemam evartham yanmam prachhatha sattamah Krishnanubhava shravane shraddadhano mahamanah samstham vitnyaya sanyasya कर्मत्रैवर्गिकं च यत् वासुदेवे भगवति आत्मभावं दृढं गतः.
O great sages, the great soul Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic developments, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me.
Rajovacha samichinam vacho brahman sarvatnyasya tavanakha tamo vishiryate mahyam hareh kathayatah katham.
Maharaja Parikshit said, O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without material contamination. Therefore, whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of the Lord.
भूय एव विवित्सामि भगवान् आत्ममायया यथेदं सृजते विश्वं दुर्विभाव्यम् अधीश्वरैः.
I beg to know from you how the personality of Godhead, by his personal energies, creates these phenomenal universes as they are, which are inconceivable even to the great demigods.
यथा गोपायति विभुर् यथा संयच्छते पुनः यां यां शक्तिम् उपाश्रित्य पुरुषक्तिः परः पुमान् आत्मानं क्रीडयन् क्रीडन् करोति विकरोति च.
Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and gain winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of player.
नूनं भगवतो ब्रह्मन् हरेरद्भुतकर्मणः दुर्विभाव्यम् इव भाति कविभिश्चापि चेष्टितम्.
O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them.
यथा गुणांस्तु प्रकृतेर् युगपत्क्रमशोऽपि वा विभूरिशस्त्वेकः कुर्वन् कर्माणि जन्मभिः.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. Whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consequently to direct the modes of nature.
विचिकित्सितम् एतन्मे ब्रवीतु भगवान् यथा शाब्दे ब्रह्मणि निष्णातः परस्मिंश्च भवान् खलु.
Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Let's have a little break there. Very interesting questions and comments by Sutta Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj, who, as a result of his attraction to Krishna, gave up all his affectionate ties for his wife, children, etc. So this is almost unheard of, how one can give up one's affectionate ties for one's family or friends or material possessions, right? Only possible as a result of this point here, is attraction to Krishna. It's very difficult to give anything up in this world unless we have a higher attraction. And the only higher attraction to all the so-called temptations of this world are attraction to the Supreme Lord, attraction to the spiritual aspects of our lives. So if we become attracted to the Supreme Lord, then automatically any attraction to the mundane things of this world are reduced and destroyed. Now, I'm not saying that the family is mundane. Unfortunately, our attraction is mundane. We are attracted to the outer shape, the outer the form, the material body, if you like, and without understanding that we are not this body, we are way beyond this body. We are the spirit soul, and the spirit soul is connected with the supreme spirit soul, and our connection with others is on a spiritual level. But because we identify with this body, we don't know that. We've forgotten that our relationship with our family, so-called family, is on a spiritual basis. If we become attracted to them simply because of the material connection, he's my son, he's my daughter, she's my wife, he's my husband, then we are under illusion. Illusion because we are connected to the temporary nature of this world. But if we're connected with our family on a spiritual basis, that this is, I am married to this person, but we are together serving the Supreme Lord as spiritual beings, then our understanding will be on a better platform. These are my children, but my duty is to bring them up so that they can understand spiritual life. Then our connection is on a spiritual platform. If, however, our connection is simply on a material platform, then that attraction will bind us to this world. We'll be stuck here forever. Because whether we like it or not, we will at some point be separated forever from our families. That will happen, guaranteed. Just like the sun will rise tomorrow. And we know this historically because we've seen our grandparents pass away, our father and mother perhaps pass away. We know it's going to happen. So if our attraction is simply based on the bodily connection, that is an absolute waste of life. If we connect to each other on a spiritual platform, then we will advance to the higher levels of consciousness. Okay. So what does Parikshit Maharaj do? He inquires. So as Sutta Goswami said already, Parikshit Maharaj was asking the similar questions to what the sages at Naimisharanya were asking to Sutta Goswami. So Parikshit was already asking Shukadeva Goswami those same questions. And there were inquiries about how the Lord creates and maintains a phenomenal world with the help of his various energies and expansions, and how he winds up the creation in the sporting spirit of a player. Now, the Lord is not directly connected with this world, but yet he controls the phenomena of creation and destruction as well. And Parikshit Maharaj was very inquisitive. How does this happen? Very interesting question. So let's see how Shukadeva Goswami starts to answer it. Okay. So Shruti, now it's up to verse 20.
Okay, Prabhuji. Suta uvacha ityupamantrito ratnya gunanukathane harehe hrishikesham anusmritya prativaktum prachakrame.
Sutta Goswami said, when Sukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus.
Shri Shuka uvacha Namah parasmai purushaya bhuyase सद्बुद्भवस्थाननिरोधलीलया गृहीतशक्तित्रतयाय देहिनाम् अन्तर्भवायानुपलक्ष्य वर्त्मने.
Sukadeva Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, for the creation of the material world, accepts the three modes of nature. He is complete, whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable."
भूयो नमः सद्वृजिनच्छिदे सताम् असम्भवायाखिलसत्त्वमूर्तये पुंसां पुनः पारमहंस्य आश्रमे व्यवस्थितानाम् अनुमृग्यदाशुषे.
I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament and of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations.
नमो नमस्ते वृषभाय सात्वताम् विदूरकाष्ठाय मुहुः निरस्तसाम्यातिशयेन राधसा स्वधामनि ब्रह्मणि रंस्यते नमः.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, who is the associate of the members of the Yadu destiny, and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds, yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him, because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable.
यत्कीर्तनं यत्स्मरणं यदीक्षणं यद्वन्दनं यच्छ्रवणं यदर्हणं लोकस्य सद्यो विधुनोति कल्मषं तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all sins of the performer.
विचक्षणाय चरणोपसादनात् सङ्गं व्युदस्यो भयतोऽन्तरात्मनः विन्दन्ति हि ब्रह्मगतिं गतक्लमास्तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to present and future existence, and without difficulty progress toward spiritual existence.
तपस्विनो दानपरायशस्विनो मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदः सुमङ्गलाः क्षेमं न विन्दन्ति विना यदर्पणं तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful result without dedication of such a great qualities to the service of the Lord.
किरातहूणान्ध्रपुलिन्दपुल्कषा आभीरशुम्भायवनाः खसादयः येने च पापा यदपाश्रयाश्रयाः शुध्यन्ति तस्मै प्रभविष्णवे नमः.
Kritika, Huna, Andhara, Pulinda, Pulkesha, Abhihara, Subha, Yavana, members of the Kesha races and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
स एष आत्मात्मवताम् अधीश्वरस्त्रयी मयो धर्ममयस्तपोमयः गतव्यलीकैरजः शङ्करादिभिर्वितर्क्य लिङ्गो भगवान् प्रसीदताम्.
He is the super soul and the supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by the Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that Supreme Absolute be pleased with me.
श्रियः पतिर्यज्ञपतिः प्रजापतिर्धियां पतिर्लोकपतिर्धरापतिः पतिर्गतिश्चान्धकवृष्णिसात्वतां प्रसीदतां मे भगवान् सतां पतिः.
May Lord Shri Krishna, who is the worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Varsni of the Yadav destiny, the husband of all goddess of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful reading, Shruti. Amazing, actually.
Oh no, all glory to the Lord.
In reply, so how does he reply? He doesn't go straight into the reply. In reply, Sukadeva Goswami first offers obeisances to the Lord, acknowledging his greatness and his inconceivability of his ways, the inconceivability of his ways. So this is a really important point. We can, with our tiny little brains, never understand the Supreme Lord unless he allows us to understand. But in many ways, whether we understand him or not is inconsequential. The main thing we want to do is offer seva to him. So whether we understand him, whether we don't understand him, doesn't even matter. We can try to understand him. And it's always good to try to become knowledgeable in the ways of the Supreme. But it is inconceivable. We have to understand that. It is not something that we will be able to, with our limited capacity, be able to get our heads around. But the beauty of the Lord is, whether we understand him or we don't understand him, provided we are performing some bhakti, some devotion towards him, it's inconsequential whether we understand him or not. Of course, to try to understand him is good, because we don't want to do something sentimentally. We want to do it with some knowledge. Why are we serving? Why are we doing arti? Why are we offering bhoga to him? Etc., etc. So these are important questions. But we should understand that we won't be able to fully understand the Supreme Lord and his ways. And then he glorifies also the pure devotees of the Lord, who, being empowered by the Lord, can purify all sorts of fallen souls. So in this world, we know the vast majority are not really religious. And even if they are religious, there's some motivation behind that religiosity. Some do it for fame, some do it for getting other benefits, material benefits. So the number of devotees of the Lord who simply want to serve him is very, very in the minority, very few, very, very, very few. But we should understand that the pure souls, they're so powerful because they're empowered by God. They can purify anybody. Nobody is beyond rectification. This is the point. Nobody is beyond rectification. We may be the most craziest person. Even we have a chance to become purified. The Lord is a super soul. He is a supreme Lord of all self-realized souls. He's a supreme Lord of everyone, right? Whether we like it or we don't like it. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. So we should understand that the Lord, he is worshipable by the greatest personalities or by the smallest personalities. Makes no difference. So let's go to the last part of this chapter and see where Sukadeva Goswami is taking us.
यदङ्घ्र्यभिध्यानसमाधिधौतया धियानुपश्यन्ति हि तत्त्वमात्मनः वदन्ति चैतत् कवयो यथारुचं समे मुकुन्दो भगवान् प्रसीदताम्.
It is the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna who gives liberation by thinking of his lotus feet at every second, following in the footsteps of austerities. The devotee in the trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculars, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me.
प्रचोदितायेन पुरा सरस्वती वितन्वताजस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलक्षणा प्रादुरभूत्किलास्यतः समे ऋषीणामृषभः प्रसीदताम्.
May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me.
भूतैर्महद्भिर्य इमाः पुरो विभुर्निर्मायशेते यदमूषु पूरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः सोऽलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् भजांसि मे.
May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlifts the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Parusa incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes which are his generator. Be pleased to decorate my statements.
नमस्तस्मै भगवते वासुदेवाय वेधसे पपुर्ज्ञानमयं सौम्या यन्मुखाम्बुरुहावसम् बुरुह यन्मुखाम्बुरुहासवम्.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who complied the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotee drink up the nectarine transcendental knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord.
एतद् एवात्मभूराजन् नारदाय विपृच्छते वेदगर्भोऽभ्यधात् साक्षात् यदाह हरिरात्मनः.
My dear king, Brahma, the firstborn, one being questioned by Narada, exactly aspired him on this subject as it had been directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who is impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth.
Hare
You're unmuted. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. That's the end of the chapter. Chapter 4 of Canto 2, Key J of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sukadev Goswami, now if you notice, he hasn't answered the questions at all. The reason being, he wants to get the blessings first of the Supreme Lord. He wants to get the blessings of the devotees, the sages. And this is the right way to do bhakti. Before we do bhakti, we basically seek the blessings of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. And then everything will be successful. Even if we fail, it's a success. This is the beauty of spiritual consciousness, spiritual devotional service. Sukadeva Goswami ends his preamble with prayers begging for the mercy of the Lord so that he may be empowered to speak properly. He clarifies the nectar of Vedic literature, which drops from the Lord's mouth into the receptive ears of his devotees. Sukadeva Goswami then refers to a conversation between Lord Brahma and Narad Muni. So this is one thing about Bhagavatam. It's a conversation within a conversation within a conversation. So now, in next few chapters, we'll see the conversation between Lord Brahma and Narad Muni. So this shows the authenticity of the scripture, because it's not Sukadeva Goswami is just speaking from his own knowledge. He's referring to knowledge of his guru and the guru of his guru and the guru of his guru's guru. So in that way, it follows a chain of parampara, chain of spiritual knowledge descending from the highest source, and that is Lord, the Supreme Lord himself. Because from the Supreme Lord, the knowledge went into the ears, the heart of Lord Brahma, who departed it to Narad Muni, and then Narad Muni gave it to Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva gave it to Shukadeva Goswami. So that is the proper chain of religious transcendental knowledge, which is not adulterated. It's pure transcendental knowledge. And we're very lucky to have access to this Srimad Bhagavatam, because it's a very rare book. Before, like maybe probably 100 years ago, it was not even available. It was very difficult to get a copy. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who's one of the Hare Krishna gurus, Pasacharyas, he actually resurrected, he painstakingly got a copy of the Bhagavatam. And we're very fortunate to have this available to us. It's freely available now on the internet. Like we were looking just now at the weather base, it's so easy, but this is actually a very rare scripture. And we're very fortunate to be able to read it and try to understand it. And how fortunate we are, how unfortunate we are that we don't make so much time for it. But this is such an invaluable scripture that it will actually give us full transcendental knowledge and give us that opportunity to become very close to the Supreme Lord and associate with the Supreme Lord directly. So we're very fortunate. And all these blessings are very important, and we can take them to heart and also request the Lord, please bless us so that we can dive into the nectar of the Bhagavatam together with your devotees. So I wanted to stop there and request if there's any questions or any comments, if anybody has. Oh, Surinder, would you like to share any nectar?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Prabhu, and Dandavat to all the devotees, Nitai Gaura Haribol. Sri Nityananda Chandram Patita Sharanadam Gauradam Tam Bhajeham. Yes, Prabhu, very interesting chapter. And it is opening the path of about the process of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. Is very interesting. The first verse, at some point, it mentions about faithfulness. So we have to be faithful in our Krishna conscious practices. So in Prema Vivarta, Jagadananda Pandit, he explains in one of the chapters, the title is Kutinati Nai, means we should give up deceitfulness. So it is important that in our Krishna conscious practices, we should avoid deceitfulness. And the most importantly is that we tend to deceive ourselves. That's a big problem we have. And therefore we should try to practice being faithful to our Guru Varga, to Hari Guru and Vaishnava in the service mood. And also it goes on to explain about detachment from family, friends, etc. All these worldly elements which we tend to be bonded and very much attached to. Starting with the body, our own body, then the family relations, and then extended the society, etc. So regarding detachment, it is Gauranga Mahaprabhu explains this. There is vairagya. There are two types of vairagya. There is one is one of the vairagya is that some in the olden age, for example, people will leave their home and go to the forest, etc. And that's called Falgunya Vairagya. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu emphasizes in Yukta Vairagya, which means we use whatever we have access, we use them in the service of Krishna. So therefore, similarly, if we are in family life, and detachment doesn't mean that we leave the family and go somewhere else or cut off our ties with our friends and families. In Prema Vivarta, Jagadananda Pandit explains that we should understand that our friends and family, they are servants of Krishna, and therefore we should be kind to them and sweet to them, and also we should serve them because everybody is servant of Krishna. And Krishna also, he may give us friends and families, but also Krishna can take away friends and families. So in whatever situation, we should be equipoised and always Krishna conscious. Anyhow, so this way, and it is said in one of the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Edina grihe bhajana dekhi grihete goloka bhaya. This means when I see Krishna consciousness being practiced in my home, then I see that my home has become Goloka Vrindavan. So we are encouraged in this way, not to physically be detached with family and friends, rather to practice Krishna consciousness together with all family and friends like that. And also, we should, previously the method was dharma, karma, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, this process in the olden days. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he brought this path of Sudha Bhakti, that prema, Krishna prema, is a fifth end of our life. Therefore, we should keep Krishna in the center of our life and try to practice our Krishna consciousness towards developing Krishna prema, Gaura prema. Yeah, and also it goes on to explain that Krishna Katha destroys this mode of ignorance. So in chapter 12 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has mentioned that if we cannot meditate on him, then we can practice regulative devotional service, sadhana bhakti, or else we cannot do that, then we can work for Krishna, or else if we're working, then we cannot work for Krishna, then when we're working anywhere, then some part of the salary we can use in the service of Krishna, say we can give it for the service of Lord Sri Krishna in the temple, like that. So ultimately it comes to the point like the minimum is that we should listen to Krishna Katha, get some knowledge about Krishna. Yeah, and then we can understand by this practicing Krishna consciousness, we understand that Krishna is a supreme percent of Godhead, he's all powerful and he has all energies. And and Krishna is known as Adhoksaja, that he is beyond our mental capacity to understand. So there is a very nice song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and which goes on to explain that with what capacity we have come to the lotus feet of Krishna. Is it with what personal effort or knowledge we have come to Krishna consciousness? So the song is like that. If it is possible, I can sing it and explain
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah.
Yes, please.
It goes on like that. Ki jani ki bole tomara dhamete hoino sharanagata. Tumi doya moya patita pavana patita tarane rata. How has one such as I come to your lotus feet, to your shelter? Surely it is by your mercy alone, for you are ever seeking the purification and deliverance of the fallen souls. Bharasa amara e matra nata tumito karuna moya. Tova doya patra nahi mora sama abhasya ghuchare bhaya. You are my only hope, for you are full of compassion and mercy. There is no one who needs your mercy more than I. You will surely drive away all fear. Amare tarite kaharo shakati abani bhitore nahi. Doyala Thakura Ghoshana Tomara Adhama Pamare Trahi. No one else has the power to deliver me. O merciful Lord, by your declaration, kindly deliver this vile and lowly sinner. Sakala Chadiya Asiya Chiyami Tomara Charana Natha. Aminitya Dasa Tumi Palaita Tumi Gupta Jagannatha. I have given up everything and come to your lotus feet. I am your eternal servant and you are my protector and maintainer, O Lord of the universe. Tomara sakala ami matra dasa amara taribe tumi. Tomara charana karinu varana amara nahito ami. Everything is yours. I am merely a servant, certain that you will deliver me. I have chosen your lotus feet as my only shelter. I no longer belong to myself. Bhakati vinoda kandiya sharana loya cheto marapaya. Komiya paradha name ruchi diya palana koro hetaya. Weeping Bhakati Vinod, take shelter at your feet. Forgive his offenses. Afford him a taste for the holy name and kindly maintain him. So in this way, the thing is that we cannot approach Krishna with our own personal effort or with some knowledge. It is only by obtaining the grace of Krishna, the grace of the devotees, Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava, then we can get the shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. So in this way, in this chapter, it's about inquiring. Some inquiries made and some answers have been given about this process of bhakti, which culminates in this chanting, hearing, remembering, deity worship, etc. And all these practices of bhakti, it cleanses our heart from all these impurities of lust, anger, greed, madness, delusion, and hatred. And in this way, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, like that, the first sloka of Shikshastakam. So in this way, we have to surrender to the Lord. So the whole point of this listening to Krishna Katha or practice of any devotional activities, it should gradually make us become surrendered to Lord Shri Krishna and to be engaged in the service of Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava. And in this chapter also, it goes on to explain about the different sinful races, like the Kirata, etc. But all types of people who are addicted to sinful life can be purified by taking shelter of pure devotee and start practicing Krishna consciousness. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Prabhu, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. That was good analysis. Nice song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur as well. Thank you. Anybody with any questions or any comments? Okay, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow and next Friday. Shruti, thank you so much for chanting in Sanskrit. Beautifully done, as always.
Always a blessing, Prabhuji. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, thank you. And thank you, Kaushali Maji, for reading the English. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving me the chance. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.